And we're recording. So, the whole fact that Princess Leia met Obi-Wan, it's all right in my book.
Yeah, why is that?
Because if you listen to it, so there's things in New Hope that are said, and keep in mind, New Hope's the original movie, so you can't argue with what's really said in that.
Mhm,
Everything else has to fit to that. And
mm.
there's things like where, right down to the line where he says um, that Vader killed Anakin. It's a stretch of the truth. And
But he did kill Anakin.
well, Anakin's not dead. Comes back.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, Vader did that. I mean, truthfully, take Anakin down.
Sure, but it's a stretch of the truth though. Like I'm saying it's true, but it's a
There's
stretch of
no
it.
stretch of the truth with Leia not remembering their antics
Ah, so there's the
8 years
thing.
later.
There's the thing. It says she's like so she says you served with my father in the wars or whatever, Clone Wars or
Mhm,
whatever, blah blah blah.
mhm.
You could take that as she's reminding an old man that she's not sure is going to remember her. Because after that
It's
she
only been 8
does
years.
what's that?
It hasn't been 40 years. It's been 8. If Obi-Wan,
No.
if how old is she in the show?
Like 8 or 10?
She's only like supposed to be 16 in A New Hope.
No way.
Yes, Luke's not much older than Luke. They're supposed to be like 16, 17 years old tops.
All right. Well, either way, listen to me, let me get it through because right after that, so I specifically watched New Hope right before this on purpose
Mhm.
because I wanted to
And
see
you're
it.
still so. I mean, you're still so wrong yet. That's weird.
No, never. But
Yeah.
and I didn't just watch it for the Obi-Wan reason. I watched it also for the originals, everything except for the Fever Dreams because they were just dreams, and why would you want to match those up? But
Those don't match up with
after
themselves. Why would you think they're gonna match up with the past?
that's true. They But after she says the part about Organa, whatever, my dad, blah blah blah, she then says, "Obi-Wan, you're my last hope," or something like that. She didn't say only hope, but she says
Yes, she
something
does.
more
Help me,
sincere.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're
Well,
my only
she
hope.
she says something more on the lines of, "I know," like she says it like she knows him.
She doesn't.
Well, obviously she doesn't, but it plays it. You know what? It's close enough where because
God.
otherwise, if you're gonna get that picky, the problem is if you get that picky, it destroys the prequels also.
Uh-huh. Though I never said those lined up perfectly either, but they line up better than that nonsense.
I put it right on about the same line.
That is ridiculous. You're trying to make excuses for a show that you're trying desperately to like.
Oh, I like it.
Even though,
I've
yeah,
enjoyed it.
what great screenwriting. You know what? Let's hide Leia under a bunch of coats.
A bunch of what?
Coats. You watched the last episode, right? Episode 4 yesterday, whatever it
Oh,
was.
they cover her. They don't hide her under a bunch of
Yes. Oh,
coats.
yeah. Yeah. She's under a fucking coat, and nobody notices that Obi-Wan now has 4 legs.
You mean just like how Obi-Wan Kenobi does the Jedi Men trick on one of the four stormtroopers and they still let it go? These aren't the
No, he
droids
was
you're
the
looking
captain.
for. Move
No,
along.
he's the captain. The other ones are
Oh,
gonna fall in
come
line.
on. There's a certain point where you do have to stretch
You're
belief.
making excuses for a dog shit show. I mean, okay. I mean, you're enjoying it. Good. I mean, you enjoy a 9-year-old girl getting tortured for absolutely no reason because she can't possibly have any information.
She didn't get tortured.
Uh-huh.
They were
Wasn't
going to torture her, but they did.
why? What's a 9-year-old girl gonna have goddamn information on? Why don't you
Hey,
just grab Bail Organa if you want information? How stupid.
well, they wanted Obi-Wan.
I thought they wanted to know where the rebels were, which by the way, the rebels haven't started yet.
What? No, no, it's all about Obi-Wan.
They had Obi-Wan.
No, Obi-Wan goes and saves her.
Again, they had Obi-Wan when Vader was gonna kill him, but a little bit of fire stopped it. No, no, that's right.
Nah,
He
there was more to
let
that.
him go. Stupid.
Ah,
It's
that
padding. How does
that ma-
6 episodes get padded?
that made good sense. The whole
Sure
Vader
it does.
thing.
Sure
He
it
did.
does.
He wasn't there to kill him. He was there to make his life hell,
Yes,
torture
he
him.
was there to late make his life hell. He wasn't there to kill him, of course not. Because you can't kill him. And that's inherently the problem with this series.
Not well. That's true. You can't kill him, but at the same time, that's like
You would have killed him. If there was no future, if this was like, let's say the originals haven't happened yet, Vader kills Obi-Wan right there. You can't tell me otherwise.
Wait, when you say the originals, you mean
Let's
four
say
through
that
seven or one through three?
let's say 1 through 3 happened.
That makes sense. Even
And
without
let's
4 through 7, it makes sense he didn't kill him
It
then.
doesn't make any sense. He would kill him right then and there.
No, it makes sense he doesn't.
No, it does
He
not.
he wasn't he didn't. I mean, he wanted to kill him, but he didn't want to just kill him. He wanted to torture him.
Yeah, he would have pulled him back down or something. He would have been in his clutches. He's not going to let him waltz away.
There's still one more episode left.
Yeah, they can't wrap up all this crap up. And that thing with Leia makes absolutely no sense. Sorry.
Yeah, the Leia thing doesn't break it though.
It breaks all the continuity, breaks it right in half.
No, it don't.
Yes, it does. She would not. She's talking to somebody that doesn't know her, that she's never met before. When she sends that message in A New Hope, she's talking to somebody she's never met before. Obi-Wan's not 100. She doesn't need to remind him of something that happened 8 years ago.
Lots happen. You don't know. You got to watch it. I should have saved the clip and played it because it actually, when you hear it, the way she finishes it could be played off as she does know him. She knows she knows of him from the past, not like they're on first term basis.
No, she doesn't.
Plus,
She's
it
never heard of. She's heard
actually
of him and never met him.
it actually fixes something too. How did Princess Leia ever know to send R2 and C3PO to Tatooine?
Bail Organa,
How does
her
Bail
father.
Organa know where he is?
Doesn't he come visit him
In
in
the
the show?
new in the show,
Yeah, there you
but
go.
not but without the show, how would they know it?
Oh, so they actually did lines one thing up from the show.
I'm telling you,
Wow.
it's not bad. So you're nitpicking it off of what you're seeing on YouTube and on the internet and stuff. You got to
I'm
watch
nitpicking
it
it
to
off
really.
of I'm nitpicking off an unbiased breakdown of each episode, and that stuff doesn't gel. Sorry.
There's no such thing as an unbiased. I mean, even if you're for it, you're biased. If you're against
The
it, you're
person whose
biased.
review I read this on liked the show, so I'm taking this and saying that just doesn't
Keep in
gel.
mind, I never said it was perfect. I never claimed that.
That's a pretty big ass continuity break.
No, no, it's not. Not
Yes,
if
it
you
is.
watch it.
Yes, it is.
No, no. The fact that he has met Leia is. I
Why would
would.
she mention again? Why would she mention something that happened 40 fucking years ago and not something that happened 8?
It is a reminder thing. I don't know. You got to hear the whole
It's not a
speech.
reminder. Obi-Wan.
You
I've
got to
heard the
hear
whole
the
speech.
whole
I've watched that
speech.
movie 50 times. None of it indicates that she had never met this person before
I
ever.
don't know. I picked up on a lot of different things watching it this time, actually paying attention to it. See, the thing is, though, when I watch something, I don't try to look for that stuff because if you look for it, you're gonna find it. And I
And
and I
you're
looked for
purposely
it today, and
ignoring
I
it.
found it.
You're purposely ignoring it. You're ignoring the fact it doesn't line up and make sense.
But you have to.
Why?
Well, then
You can you can nitpick everything else on the planet. How come this is now? See, this is where the Marvel shit comes in too. You
well
can.
then 1 through 3 sucks.
I came up with this. You know those Joker memes where he's in the hospital, he's the nurse, and they have the
Yeah,
memes where. Well, I came up with one. You can criticize John Wick, no one bats an eye. You criticize Marvel, everyone loses their minds. And now you're doing it with Star Wars too. This stuff you can't criticize this stuff because you're just supposed to enjoy it. How come I can criticize John Wick, but I cannot criticize Obi-Wan Kenobi?
yeah, but you gotta remember who you're saying it to. I don't criticize movies that bad.
No, I'm just saying. I'm now I'm going beyond you. I'm going to the.
I get your point with people who like it's my problem with heels versus babyface. It could be a good movie. They could even say it's a good movie. They're gonna look for a reason to slam it. That's what he does. He's an asshole.
I'm not looking for a reason to hate this thing. This just doesn't jive.
No, I mean You gotta watch. It does actually. Is it 100% lock it in? No, but
It
if
doesn't
you're
even
not,
graze it.
but if someone, I'm not saying you, but if someone's not gonna like Obi-Wan because there's little things that don't, and I'm saying little things are not that bad now that I watched the next episode. If little things don't line up, then that person has to agree that 1 through 3 sucks also.
But these aren't little things to me. That's a big ass continuity bust right there.
Actually, once I watched this
And
last
destroying
episode,
Obi-Wan's character from 3 to 4 is a big bust for me.
what do you mean destroying the character?
Once again, we've done. He did the same thing to him they did to Luke in Last Jedi.
Yeah, they pussied him. Like that's where I say that this is not on my favorite list at all. Enjoyability's there,
Why do you have
but
to do that?
the story arc. It depends on how they finish out the story arc. If the next episode he's a complete pussy, or if he comes back as Ash Williams, I'm good with it. If
How many
he
more
stays
times?
a
Well, he
big
only got 2 more
pussy,
times to. He's only got 2 more times to save Leia. So
is there 2 more episodes?
I think it's a 6. I think this was the 4th one.
Oh yeah, there's 2 more. Oh, then there's plenty of time.
Yes, because a goddamn filler episode with him running around a hallway that never floods, but there's water in it. That's not filler.
What? It flooded. They're underwater.
I saw a clip of this thing, and the water never touched anybody. Nobody got wet, and everyone came through a door.
Oh, when he's out running the water,
Yeah,
that's yeah, that's I even thought to myself, I'm like, this bullshit, water travels too fast.
and the awful snow speeders at the end. I've seen clips,
Oh, I like the snow speeders.
which they
But
wouldn't have yet because the rebellion was not up to that stuff yet.
well, okay, so I am going to argue on this, and it's because it's a pet peeve of mine with the movies, everyone calling them snow speeders, and they were called snow speeders, not arguing that. They were called snow speeders for us layman idiots who can't remember TI 85 Action
Well, I'm
Force
not remembering
5.
that anyway. I'm not remembering that anyway.
No, I wouldn't either. But so the snow speeders were always my favorite. I don't know why. They just reminded me of like the cool vehicle. At least until Return of the Jedi came out, then the speeder bikes were my favorite. But the snow speeders, there's actually a line said in Empire Strikes Back. They're talking about how they're trying to winterize them basically because they're having a hard time getting them to run. They're not actually snow speeders. They weren't for Hoth. They just happen to have them.
The problem isn't the fact that they're mislabeled, it's the fact that the rebels aren't that far yet in their cause.
Why? They were just junked up ships. Why wouldn't they have those?
But they're like organized enough to like scramble and go save somebody right away. Didn't seem like the rebels were that put together yet.
Oh, I thought that was whole. When I watched the episode, I'm pretty sure that was part of the plan. Like it
Maybe
wasn't a last
like I said,
second thing.
I've only seen some clips of this that I watched.
Yeah, no, no. When they take off from the planet to go save Leia, um, it's part of the plan. It's like you don't know that. You don't know the snow speeders are going to show up.
It's all part of the plan.
But when they do show up, it's not like, oh, thank God they showed up out of nowhere. It was more of a, I'm assuming that they're like, hey, when you see us on deck or shit goes down, that's when you swoop in. Because the big ship that was holding them was in the clouds above. And that's how they came off. So no, you got to watch the whole episode. That was part of the plan. That
Yeah,
wasn't
I'm
one of those
gonna do that.
plot armor last second. Hey, we thought you needed help kind of things. No, they were
No,
there.
that was Obi-Wan's coat.
That I won't argue with it. That yeah, I won't argue with that. But at the same time, I'm not going to nitpick it either because I mean, Star Wars itself has tons of that shit in it. I mean,
What you
that's
call a nitpick is a gaping story hole.
oh, all right. Tell you what, I'll meet you halfway. But it's
What
not a gaping story hole.
what I call a nitpick
Is it
is
ridiculous?
somebody's wearing a
Absolutely.
hat in one scene, the hat's gone, then they're wearing the hat again. That's continuity. That's a nitpick. A
All right,
storyline
fair
problem.
enough. That's why I said I'll meet you halfway because the fact that he's under the, I mean, you see shit in Star Wars all the time that's ridiculous.
Well,
It
I mean, it's part of. And you know what? If someone uses a lightsaber in a different way, I don't have an issue with it. If a blaster blasts through somebody, but not the other person, plot armor, I get it. But when you have to connect it to 40 years of history, and these movies are out there, and the guy admitted that he never watched Episode 3, so he didn't even know Obi-Wan knew Anakin was Vader. This is the guy you got writing your show.
I don't believe any of that stuff either. I think they
It
say
came
that
from his
shit to.
mouth. It came from his freaking mouth.
No, I think they say that stuff
Why would you say something so stupid?
because it is that stupid. They're trolling people. I would do the same thing,
Right.
and you want to know
Right.
why? People like Nerderotic and Baby, whatever I just said his name earlier. Because of those people, I would troll them too. Absolutely.
There's other ways of doing it. It sounds like no,
I'm not
because then it
saying he.
lines up.
I'm not saying he was trolling. I'm just saying if it turned out he was, I wouldn't be surprised. Because look at everybody. Everyone's so against everything that comes out, unless it's Marvel. I'm going to give you that one because I'm with you on that. Unless it's
I mean,
Marvel.
that has become a cult.
Well, yeah. And don't get me wrong, I did like Doctor Strange. Now, is it because Bruce Campbell's in it and Sam Raimi directed it? Sure.
It's a long way, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love Captain. I don't like it with Sprite, but as long as the Captain's in there, I'm still going to enjoy it. It That was a bad analogy, but I had to do
Nothing mixes
something.
with Sprite.
What's that?
Nothing mixes with Sprite.
No, except
That's a
saltine
tough one.
crackers when you're sick.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's just because you're just happy to have anything. But and that's kind of how Marvel is. But I I still stand by Obi-Wan is not my favorite. It's not.
Yeah.
I go Mandalorian, Obi-Wan, and then Book of Fett. But because I enjoyed all three doesn't mean I'll sit here and say, "Oh my god, it's the greatest thing." You're absolutely wrong. I do agree with you on certain points. It's just like the her hiding under the jacket going out. That's like the two kids stacking up on a trench coat to go buy beer. It's not going to fly. Um,
Well, apparently,
I
and you see this stuff, you're like, how did the Empire ever get anywhere? They're dumber than rocks. I mean, even through the original trilogy, like, how did these idiots ever get anywhere?
well, and that's kind of what I'm saying is that's the disbelief I say you got to let go because watching New Hope, everyone's made a comment about this part. They're like, well, I know it's not sand people because they walk single file to hide their tracks, and nobody has the laser precision
Precision, yeah.
Peyton Manning throwing arm of this.
But then the
Uh,
stormtroopers can't hit anybody.
can't hit shit. Yeah,
That's plot armor though, because they're not supposed to hit Luke at that point.
correct. Well, Luke's not even there. This is
Well, I
when
mean,
they find the Jawas
no, yeah, no, but I know later on when they can't hit anybody, it's because those people are plot armored.
because you can't kill Luke.
Yeah, you can't get Luke or Leia or Han.
So that kind of go, and I'm not telling you once again, not saying Obi-Wan's the best show in the world, but it kind of goes to the Obi-Wan thing. He has to have that plot armor. He can't. We know he can't die. We knew Luke couldn't die in Star Wars. To
And
be
yeah,
honest
Leia
with you,
can't
if they
die.
w-
So why
if
can't
they,
he just run out with her like in his arms and have like a big like they're shooting at him but they can't hit him, or he's using the force to block the beams. There's better ways to do it. That's all I'm saying.
I won't disagree with you on that.
You can still
Eh,
do it, but why can't he just fuck it? We're busting through. He's got her in his arms or whatever, and he's just blocking blaster bolts or sending them flying or the trooper. I mean, it's just a better way of doing it than the
It would have
stupid coat.
absolutely agreed. Would have been a better way. Ah, I don't disagree with you, but I will admit when I was watching that scene, I did feel tension.
How? Nobody in that scene gonna die.
Ton of people died.
Well,
Well, you
nobody's
got to remember
important.
that you don't know if the girl's going to die. You don't know if Leia's going to get
But
recaptured. You don't know
if
how it's
she
going to
gets
go down.
recaptured again, my
Well,
God, in 6 episodes.
you let her die at that point. I mean, let's face it. New Hope starts out with her getting captured.
Yeah, so that'd be like the fourth time in like the span of 6 years where Leia's been captured.
Actually, she gets captured in Return of the Jedi too, like twice. The Ewoks and Jabba. She
Well,
gets
Ewoks, you don't
captured in.
count. Ewoks don't really count. They're kind of nurse her because she
That,
gets
that's
falls off her
true,
bike.
but she still does get captured by Jabba.
Java, yeah.
Empire Strikes Back.
But
She gets
now,
captured
now I'll argue the Return of the Jedi one was supposed to happen. That was part of the plan.
for getting captured.
Yes,
I'd go along with that. Yeah.
maybe not at the time it happened, but I don't believe she was supposed to get out of there
I think it was a contingent. I think they had a contingency
because
for
of
it.
backup. Because without her in there, I don't know if Luke maybe not as successful. But yeah, I think that's kind of what Lando's in there too
Yeah,
to make
yeah.
to make sure
Lando's
she
kind
doesn't
of
get
he.
killed off.
I think Lando was kind of in there too for the layout of it. Like, all right,
Yeah,
here's what we got. We got
yeah,
Boba at the
yeah.
door. We got pig people over
Oh
here.
Christ! You know what we've done? We've just given him the idea for the next fucking show.
That's all right. Nobody watches this.
Oh yeah, you're
Um,
right.
I I
8
still
episodes
say
of all Lando scouting and making the maps of Jabba's palace.
I do. Well, Book of Fett kind of does that. I do think it would have been cooler though, like you said, because when he's in the tunnels underwater, there is scenes where the stormtroopers are shooting and he's deflecting bolts, and you can see he's gradually getting better with it, like he's getting back into his own. And that scene's pretty. I like that scene when they run out and Leia's under the jacket. I get what they were trying to do. It was stupid. I don't deny that. I agree with you. It would have been cool if they just like maybe he got caught right away. Like they tried it, it didn't work, and
Hmm.
now the lightsaber comes out and they're running as he's deflecting backwards.
Yeah, using the lightsaber and the Force to
But yeah,
block
like
him
throw
and
some
throw him
people
off.
off
Yeah.
the edge and shit like that.
Yep.
That like in Force Unleashed too. Once you get the
Yes.
force power, you're chucking stormtroopers
Oh
off
yeah.
the
Oh
edge.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
I agree. That would have been pretty cool. As for the as for them luking Obi-Wan, I actually am pretty much on pace with you on that one, but like I said, if it turns out in the next two he's Ash Williams,
Well,
I'm
they
all
have to
right
bring
with
him.
it.
They have to bring him back around, especially because he's going to face Vader again because they can't resist.
You know what? I get your complaint, but I don't have a problem with how the first interaction with Vader
Fine.
went.
How's the second one going to end?
I don't know. That one worries me a bit more. My only thought is on that one. So what I thought on that one prior to it the series even starting and only seeing the trailer, because they're on one building that has a lot more metal and shit, kind of like
Hmm.
Coruscant. My thought was is there would be like a higher up battle. I got the high ground, blah blah blah, blah, and maybe Obi-Wan gets injured and falls to what Vader thinks is his death, and that's how that ended. Um, Now, do I hope that's what happens? No, I don't. That'd be a really shitty ending.
It has to happen. It has to happen to one of them because they can't kill each other.
They don't need to meet again. That one meeting's all
But
they
they will.
needed.
But they will.
They probably will, but if the
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
I do, I know, I'm just trying to ignore it. It's what they could do is so Obi-Wan's seen him now. He has now seen him as more machine than man. And it was a brutal mental scene. It was a good episode. I don't care what anyone says. It was a good episode, mentally wise. So what could happen now is the chick who wants to be the Grand Inquisitor,
Hmm.
she could lie or believe that she killed Obi-Wan and tell Vader that. Vader could believe her and then kill her because he overall wanted him to suffer or wanted the rights to kill him, and they could end it that way. I'd be fine with that because Vader kills his own Inquisitors all the time. That's
Oh,
not a.
I'm sure. I don't think there's any way that she can survive. But who cares about canon right now? Because it doesn't matter.
But that would keep it in canon still.
That would be. But why? Why would that? Why would they care about canon now?
The As far as I personally am concerned, they only broke canon once so far, and that could still come back around. And that's with the Grand Inquisitor,
Now,
because he's
is
not
this
supposed to be
supposed to?
dead.
Is this supposed to be in the same universe that Rebels exists in?
Well, I would hope so, because Rebels is
'Cause,
freaking awesome.
I know Clone Wars too, but I mean, Clone Wars is canon
Yeah, and
technically.
Rebels is canon.
That would make Rebels canon, so that would he's not dead. He'll show up, and maybe he's the one that kills her because, fuck you,
Who kills him?
the one that everybody thinks is dead.
That's a good point. That could happen. I don't think he's dead.
He's not. He got what he stabbed in his stomach. That doesn't kill anybody in Star Wars.
No, people are like, well, they focused on him for a bit before she ran away. That don't mean shit.
No,
It, I mean, there's other Jedi according to legends, and I know Legends isn't technically canon anymore, but there's other stories and legends of Jedi that have died and came back that same day. They just, they force heal themselves, whatever. Force heal is not new to Rey. They just fucked it up with Rey.
it's
Um,
new movie wise. It's new to it
Movie wise, it is. Yeah, yep.
because
Um,
otherwise, you got a lot of dead Jedi that are like, what the fuck? Sam Jackson sitting in that son of a bitch. I could
I
have just healed my goddamn arm.
Well, the thing with Samuel Jackson is, and I know we differ on opinion on this one. The second I saw him go out that window, I didn't think he was dead.
He was dead. I mean, I'm sure he's not anymore because they'll make a show about it. And
Search your
he'll
feelings.
be yes, I know. He'll be the hermit. I don't know where they're gonna get. I don't know where. This is my idea, but I think they would bring him back, and he's some sort of hermit that has disconnected himself from the force. Now this is just a stab in the dark, and they'll spend
No,
6 or 7 episodes where he's trying to get back. Yeah.
no, they haven't done that yet with
No,
anyone.
I
Why
know,
would they
but
do
it's
it
crazy.
now?
I'm just saying it's crazy.
I mean, Luke wouldn't I meant Obi-Wan. I mean, Samuel Jackson
Mace.
wouldn't.
Yeah, Yoda. What a
Hey,
Mace
at
Windu
least
show only works if you take him completely into a different area of the universe.
he needs to actually be shuttled off of Coruscant. He needs to be.
Somewhere like not even close to where anything is going on.
He needs to be like near death. Someone got him, knew they had to save him, but they couldn't do it there.
And took him off world somewhere, and yeah, he's gonna have his own adventures somewhere way off the grid.
But him surviving that, I mean, I get what you're saying, 30-foot fall, but I mean, if you've watched, I mean, you liked Rebels, you watched Rebels, they fell all the time.
I'm not saying that they won't bring him back. I'm just saying I would rather he be dead. It's more meaningful for the series and that course of events for him to be dead.
Oh, I'd be okay with him being gone, not
Yeah.
coming back. I will admit though, it was a pretty this last Obi-Wan was pretty dark though, because they showed the tombs of a lot of Jedi that they kept. Kind of like did you remember the Rebels one where Kanan and Ezra go to find the one master and it turns out she's actually dead, it's just their force ghost?
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's like that, except they
Yeah.
show like a youngling and stuff, and you're just like, oh, that's dark. It They're going with a dark vibe with it, and I think I kind of like that also. Um, yeah, it's not the coat thing. Absolutely, it would have been cooler if I don't have a problem that they tried it. I have a problem that it worked for as long as it did. Um, it would have been cooler if he just pulled out his lightsaber and started going, "Yep, I'm getting the hang of this," and showed a quick progression. Because when he first started blocking blaster bolts, they were bouncing everywhere. They weren't, but as it went on,
He
he
got
was
back
getting a
into the habit.
couple to go back.
So
Um,
here's one I was thinking of the other day. The scene with and it's the first episode I think it was, where that one Jedi finds Obi-Wan and he tells him to bury his lightsaber and then go hide.
yeah, I didn't care for that, but yeah.
Is that the same episode where he says he has to train Luke?
Yes.
Those two things don't make sense.
Nope, they don't. But
No, no.
I'm gonna give it an excuse.
Oh, for God's sake.
I'm gonna put a little cox on it. It so he almost doesn't go to save Leia because he doesn't want to leave Luke. In fact, I could argue that's kind of a weak point of the series too. But he is pressured pretty hard, and it is another hope. So it my putting a shit polish on it is the thought was he couldn't do anything to jeopardize what he was believing was his job, and that was to protect Luke. Which him doing anything with that Jedi would do that. Which you could then argue, though, he did leave the planet to go to Leia. But being that Leia is Luke's sister, you could all go back and argue, going, well, he has a duty there too. That's a weaker argument,
But
but the fact, oh,
why tell
good,
one Jedi to go hide and never show his face and then train one?
because
That doesn't make any sense.
the one is nobody, while the other one's the last hope.
But he doesn't know that yet.
No, I thought that was kind of understood that because it was Anakin's spawn
Yeah, but I think at the
that
end
was.
of three, they were just Yoda's like, just send the kids off. Yoda says nothing of training Luke.
Maybe I should have watched the third episode again. I don't know that one.
At the end, he's just like, what about the children? And Yoda's like, or Bail Organa says, I'll take her and she'll be loved to her. And Obi-Wan says, what about the boy? Yoda says, to Tatooine, I will watch over him. There never many mention of
I
training
thought
Luke.
they did say something until he's old
No,
enough or something.
that may be later on, but in episode three, it's just to Tatooine to his family send him. And then Obi-Wan says, I'll watch him. I'll watch over him.
Oh, maybe that's all it is then. Then maybe he just you're right though. He does say that. He does say it to Owen. He's like, "Is he showing?" Of course, you know what? Now I gotta rewatch that too because I don't know if he. I feel like he does say though he must be trained.
But why? That'll be a pretty big
No, you're
fucking
right.
flare.
No, I agree with you. You're right on that. It's. I mean, I don't have a problem with it, but you're right. It. Yeah, there's continuity stuff, but even like I said, even watching New Hope again, I was just like, wow, this
Well,
is what.
we're judging 9 movies and 5 TV shows from one that they weren't even sure was going to get a sequel when they made it. So,
Oh no, I mean New Hope as its own, as a standalone. There's a lot of wow,
well,
but there's a lot of good too. It. I forget how much I enjoy. Well, I've never made it a secret that I'm not a fan of CGI, unless it's to assist. It. I really enjoyed like the whole part where they go to look for R2 and the Sand People come out. It's before you see Obi-Wan, and
mhm.
like just the camera. Like nowadays, everything's so smooth with the jibs and stuff and the cranes.
Well, I mean that's technology.
Yeah, I don't like it. I think it
No,
actually
that
took
doesn't work.
away from it because there's that scene where rocks like crumble down the side, and it's because the sand people knocked them down. You don't see that, but you find out that's
Yeah,
what it was.
yeah.
And the camera's kind of wiggling a bit, and it just gives a better feel. Or when Leia's about to get tortured by the droid with Vader in the room, they show Vader stepping towards her as the door comes closed, so you can't see in there anymore. But just as the door closes and the camera kind of follows it closing, you see the Empire guy, his feet step there, and then they follow him walk down the hallway. Like it's just little touches like that. You don't see that anymore.
Well, yeah, they edit all that out digitally.
It's but I mean that was meant to be there. That gave you a feeling of oh she's fucked. It and all the props. I mean some of it's matte painting of course and stuff, but they just did. There was a talent back then that you just don't
But you
see
can't tell me
anymore.
though if they had the technology back then, they wouldn't have used it like they do now.
They would have, and it wouldn't have been the same movie.
Yeah, I'm just saying. That's just that was the limitations of their day.
In fact, actually, the Star Wars, that's one of the reasons why it was so great was is people never saw anything like
Yeah,
that before.
which is odd because Jaws was what 2 years before that.
Yeah, but if you think about it, they cut out every lightsaber blade in the film and then re-exposed it. Like some of those things have multiple
Hmm.
exposures to get one frame. And there's like what, 24 frames a second in a
Well, hell,
movie?
if Jaws had gone the way they wanted, it would have been ruined. They wanted to show the shark a lot more, but because it wouldn't work, they couldn't, and it worked out.
That worked out for them, yes. Yeah, because they had all the mechanical issues.
Yep.
The whole Jaws thing is kind of a crazy story because like one of the Jaws, Brutus or whatever they called it, ended up like on a gas station or something
Bruce, yeah, it's
somewhere.
like he's in. I think he's in a car lot and true trees.
Yeah, something weird like that. Yeah, I think it's
Yep.
been bought back since then,
Yeah, I
but
think it's in a museum now.
back then no one gave a shit about props. I mean,
No, they threw them all away.
look at Han Solo's blaster. The reason why it's different in so many promo shots, like the one where he's pointing at his head and stuff like that, is because they couldn't fly back with it. It was a real gun, so they had to rebuild it again, and it just didn't get built the same. It was the same gun. It was close, but it. Yeah, Han Solo's gun. That's a big one for collectors. Like Adam Savage built. I watched one of his 1 day builds where he built one, and it was off of like screen accurate stuff. It was pretty cool. But he was even talking about how he goes, this is the one from this because they were changed throughout the things. Well, even Luke Skywalker or Anakin, well, whoever you want to say, even the original Graphics 3 cell lightsaber Luke gets from Obi-Wan, that's different in every single movie.
Yeah,
It's the only reason I think they broke it in the Fever Dream just so they could merchandise another one.
but it's back in the next one.
Yeah, but it's different. It has the leather strap because that leather strap's gonna hold a freaking kyber
It,
crystal together.
it's still never. How did she pick it up? It broke, and then I don't know. Whatever. I'm not.
Yeah,
Those
well,
are
it's a
those.
fever dream. Anything can happen in those.
Why did we have the same fever dream? We didn't even see them together.
No, I meant it's a Star Wars fever dream, like Yoda had it or
Oh,
something.
that's right. Yes,
Yeah, it was a
that was
premonition.
on Yoda's deathbed. He's like, "Oh
Yeah,
no." He
let's
goes, "Maybe you
hope
should
this.
mention something, you damn asshole."
He couldn't. He was in disbelief.
It's like, no, there's no chance.
It's probably what killed him.
He died thinking about that. He's gonna live another 100 years, and he's like, "Oh no,
Cannot be true. This is.
oh God, please tell me. I'd rather be dead." That's why he went off.
Yeah,
He just disappeared right away. It's
it's
like,
like
"Nope, I'm
I got
out.
another 500 years in me, but I ain't sticking around for this shit.
Nope, I'm gonna be a ghost. Peace. You see me again when I gotta destroy that tree with lightning for some reason."
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, God damn it, you brought me back for this. I'm burning all your shit down.
That's right. Hey, asshole, I was enjoying the afterlife.
Quinn, John, and me were doing gin over here. Come on.
That's right. Come playing cards. He's and Qui-Gon will show up at the end.
I wouldn't have a problem with that though, because that makes sense.
That's gonna be his final. Because you said he's having trouble contacting him.
Yeah, he has a break in the force. So unlike
So
Luke,
that'll be his bringing back. He'll see Qui-Gon.
yeah, I
That's
don't.
when we know that's when you know he's fully back. Which yeah, I don't have an issue with it, but you
Yeah,
know that's
that
gonna happen.
I would actually. I wouldn't be upset if he didn't come back, but it is more pleasing to me to know he does because why even bring it up in the third movie otherwise? It
I
actually.
thought there was a scene where because in the comic book there's a scene where when Yoda's sitting in that one room and he's got his eyes closed, he's meditating. He's talking to Qui-Gon right there in the comic. But something happened where they couldn't get Liam Neeson to record lines or something.
I think there is. I want to say that in a deleted scene, there's something about that too.
Yeah. Okay.
Or maybe it was a comic. I know what you're talking about. I thought it was a deleted scene, but maybe it was a comic. But Quinn Gon, that would actually be a good way for me. I would appreciate that ending if he came back and that was just a sign of going, okay, Obi-Wan's back to where he needs to be.
Yeah.
Because
That's what it's
Obi
gonna be.
Obi-Wan doesn't. You you never are told that Obi-Wan breaks his connection with the Force. He's just not using it.
Yeah.
It's in fact, I never got the feeling he did break it. I just got the feeling it like a muscle. It just
Yeah.
wasn't as worked out as much. Where with Luke, that was just a bunch of bullshit. But it was a fever dream, so
I'm thinking that'll be the way the series ends. He'll come back. He'll check on Luke because you can't involve Luke in any of this. Although It doesn't really matter, does it? Continuity be damned. He'll check on Luke when he gets back. Maybe have a little one-on-one with Owen, and Owen maybe have softened a bit. And then he'll go back to his hut, and then the ghost will appear of Qui-Gon.
I'd be fine with that
Something like
because
that.
that one shuttle that Luke's playing with before he cleans the droids, and then he
Hmm.
throws it down and goes, "Ah, I'm gonna be stuck here forever." The Obi-Wan tries to give him that. Not personally like face to face. He just tries to leave it there for him. And
Hmm.
Owen comes to town and throws it at Obi-Wan saying, leave us alone kind of thing. Owen's actually kind of badass, which works because as I'm watching New Hope, I forgot how much of an ass Owen
Yeah,
is.
Owen's a dick in the New
Yeah,
Hope.
but it's he's not a dick to be a dick. He's a dick because
No,
he
he's
just he cares.
yeah, he's protecting Luke. Yeah, he doesn't want to see the same shit. Then he gets roasted,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
and
it
Luke
was
barely and Luke barely looks upset about it.
Luke's such a whiny bitch in New Hope. I
Yeah,
forgot
he is,
how.
but he's Owen and Beru who raised you torched to death, and you're just kind of like, well, we better leave, I guess.
Well, and that's what I was saying. As a standalone, New Hope has its own issues also.
But that's I have noticed that in a lot of movies, and it kind of bugs me. Nobody ever cares
Yet
that
nobody
somebody
has a breakdown
they it's obscene. I mean, family members murdered. Nothing. Like, okay, well, I guess I can't do this now.
except for John Wick.
Yeah, that's like the only time that he actually seeks vengeance.
There's actually two scenes in that. Not only does John Wick have a breakdown, but the Russian dude does too.
Yeah,
Like he forgives John Lugiano, whatever the fuck his name is. He
yeah, John
forgives him
Leguizamo.
for slapping his kid when he finds out it
Yeah.
was because of John Wick, but he still tries to protect his kid,
Hmm.
even though he knows it's fruitless. It was a
Yeah,
well done movie,
John Wick's
actually.
great. John Wick's great. All three.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to the fourth one, but I have a feeling I already know I don't want a fifth one.
Well, I think they're making both of them at the same time.
Well, with Keanu, or are they doing the Continental?
No, I kind of know something else. That's something. That's a TV show, I think.
Fuck, are they really gonna do five? I mean, because I liked three,
Four and
but
five, because I think there's supposed to be one story. It's going to be like Last Mission Impossible. They're doing is going to be two movies, but it's the same story. Like Back to Future 2 and 3, and
yeah, or the
Matrix 2 and 3,
Matrix. Yeah,
because there's only three Matrix. But I don't know. If they got the storyline, which they have so far,
I did feel three was the weakest of the three. It
it's hard. They're all great. I don't know.
I the
Nah,
part where he's in
three's got that knife fight.
oh, are you talking about at the end?
No, no, in the beginning they got that freaking. They go into that museum like knives, and
Oh,
he's
that's
just.
freaking
I mean,
awesome.
Christ. It's just.
Whenever they're on American soil, it's fantastic. It's when they're not that I didn't care for it.
Oh, I like the part where when he meets Halle Berry.
I could have take or leave it. It didn't wreck it for me.
Come on, it's got the great line where he comes in and she's all, "They shot my dog." He's like, "Yeah, I know, I know how that is."
Oh, yes, okay, that was good. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't care for him cutting
I
his
get
pinky
it.
off.
Eh, that's part of the lure of the assassin thing.
That well, that and Hal Berry herself. It's funny. I don't hate her. I just don't really enjoy her.
Depends on the movie.
I
But
mean,
then again, it's not really her
yes.
fault. It could be.
I don't know. I think X-Men's what started the downfall for me with her. I liked her up until that,
Oh,
and then
please.
I heard about her antics on set, and I'm just like,
I don't care about that.
well, that and Catwoman.
I never saw that, so I don't care.
I saw enough. It. I liked Last Action Boy Scout. Wait, I said that wrong. I
The
just mixed Arnold Schwarzenegger and Bruce Willis
last
movie
action
together.
hero and the last Boy
The
Scout.
Last Boy Scout.
The
Yeah.
last Boy Scout. She's in two scenes and she gets shot.
Yeah, she hated it long. I forgot about that, and I watched it. It was just on TV, so I started watching it, and all of a sudden she's shot, and I'm like, "Oh shit, that's right."
Yep.
No one knew who she was yet.
No, she was just starting. That's the role
God,
you get when you're just starting. Hey,
that
you play his stupid girlfriend, you get gunned down in the alley. All right, you gotta take it.
it was a good movie though.
I love that movie.
Yeah, Bruce Willis. He's another one that I love his stuff, but man, you just hear terrible things about him.
Yeah, I don't care.
Of course, karma's come back to get him, so
Uh, your antics on set don't affect me. I'm not on set. I'm not dealing with you.
I still gotta go see Maverick Top Gun before it gets pulled.
Why? It's not gonna get pulled.
I heard it's like having lawsuits or something, isn't it?
Yeah, that'll never stop
I,
that movie from coming in.
I haven't looked into it because I don't want any spoilers, but ah,
All I need to know is it'll settle, like everything else out of court. It's just about money.
that's true. All right, where are we at? We are at 40.